but the pilot himself must of course be what we call current, and that is he must all have his proficiencies in date, and that is all checked rigorously by members of the committee. Then of course the next most important thing is to go through what we call the ribbon diagrams to ensure that they all adhere to the national regulations for flying displays all around the United Kingdom. And there are sometimes discrepancies between what we would allow in the UK as opposed to what is allowable in mainland Europe. And so that is subject to a process called validation, which is the sort of thing that was going on here on Thursday and Friday. So that is what they do. There's a lot of preparation work goes into the Flying Control Committee, but the display director, who is effectively the boss of the whole operation, of course is in charge paramountly for safety. And that of course is what underpins all their work, is to ensure that there is a safe air show. The display director bears the brunt of that in coordination with air traffic control and all the other usual emergency services that we have present as well. Now on the day, what they're doing is actually monitoring all the activity to ensure that there are no transgressions of those regulations. And we have a series of lines going out across the airfield in front of where you're looking now, and they are all the markings that delineate the various classes and speeds of aircraft. So that's why I have quite a few of these people, because it's quite a long day, and of course they all take it in turns to go and monitor various lines. So in a nutshell, that's about it, but it's the underpinning raison d'etre is safety.
And very experienced gentlemen, all of them.
Oh, hugely, just thousands of hours of flying and a huge amount of experience both in instructing and in monitoring, and many of them, we were talking about the likes of Rod Dean earlier on, of course in the actual display flying themselves. But right now we've got some action, so I think we'll cut across to Swaddington and Mike Ling to tell us what's going to happen next, which I hope will be a full Red Arrows display. Over to you, Mike.
Thank you very much, George. A very good afternoon, sirs, mums, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. As George said, I'm Squadron Leader Mike Ling, and I'm Red 10, the ground supervisor with the Royal Air Force aerobatic team, the Red Arrows. Well, the team are just lining up now, ready for our display takeoff on runway 20. It'll just be a few minutes' time before they power up those engines and get airborne, ready to set up for the display. Up by counting the number of runway lights. The runway lights here at RAF Waddington are distance 100 feet between each light, so he's counted 7.5 lights and he knows when to stop reds 4 and 5. That's red 5 telling red 1 that he's now 750 feet in front. So now listening to red 1 as he gives the command for the display takeoff. All the lights come on, the pilots go to full power on their Rolls-Royce outdoor engines, and then we'll get ready for the display takeoff. Right now, with 1, 2 and 3 will roll, a second later 4 and 5, and 2.5 seconds later will be red 6, 7, 8 and 9. So 5,200 pounds of thrust accelerates these aircraft down the runway. The front section already now doing 100 knots. They'll be rotating at around 120 knots. Join the front aircraft. Red 4, 5, red 6 leads, 7, 8 and 9, 16 for 2014. It's the Red Arrows! Coming left, now. Holding the bank, now, tight, well, red 1 has started with a rolling display. He enters a left-hand turn at 400 miles an hour. And now you'll see the jets collapse to around 6 to 8 feet away from each other as they form short diamond. Red 1 is squadron leader Jim Turner. It's his third and final year as the team's leader. He's a former Jaguar pilot, but he's very experienced in the display world. having displayed the Jaguar, spent 3 years previously with the Red Arrows, and he's also spent 3 years as the official advisor to the Royal Saudi Air Force's display team. Reds 4 and 5 pitch up to roll back rapidly and form Apollo. Coming right now. Holding the bank. Now, height. You hear Reds 2 and 3 acknowledge the move to Eagle. They do so with very metronomic rhythm in their voices. The idea in their heads on 4, all the pilots extend their air brakes, and on 6, they retract them, which enables all 3 aircraft on each wing to drop back in unison to form Eagle. And in from the right-hand side now, this is the Eagle roll. Right, boys and girls, as the jets go upside down, this is where they'll see you waving. When the Red Arrows first started, the aircraft they used was the Folland Gnat. You saw a 3-ship of the Gnats displaying earlier, and that was the advanced jet trainer in the 60s and... We're about to form a very wide formation now. Reds 8 and 9 will move to the outside of the formation, and from Red 9's right wingtip through to... from Red 8's right wingtip to Red 9's left wingtip, the formation measures 100 metres or 300 feet wide. And that means to maintain the formation as one as they manoeuvre, the pilots on the outside have to anticipate their control inputs. They do so using the cadence in Red 1's voice commands. But now, bit of red, white and blue. Big patriotic cheer, please, ladies and gentlemen, as they show you Phoenix. On the leader's right wing is the first of our... Another big wave, boys and girls. Well, most of the formations we fly have the odd-numbered pilots on the left-hand side and the even-numbered pilots fly on the right-hand side. And in their 3-year tour with the team, the pilots will generally start at the front near the leader, and as their proficiency improves, they move further back. On the leader's left wing now is the other of our first-year pilots. He's Red 3, Flight Lieutenant Joe Hurston. Joe is a former Hawk flying instructor. Operationally, he flew the Tornado GR4 also. In fact, Joe is the only pilot on the team to have instructed on this version of Hawk, the Hawk T Mark 1, and also the Royal Air Force's newest advanced jet trainer, the Hawk T Mark 2. Out to the left, the smoke has gone off as they formed another shape. This time it's of the iconic supersonic airliner, and they're about to show you Concorde.
Display yesterday.
Smoke comes on again as they're going to form another shape, this time of a feathered arrow. Reds 2, 3, 4. Is the end of the first half of the Red Arrows display, ladies and gentlemen. So far you've seen all 9 aircraft flying close formation aerobatics. Here you go, Enid, keep your eyes on Jippo underneath. Changing from red to white on the left hand side is red 6. Well, the synchro pair are leaving their smoke on. They're turning away from us now at 6G, or 6 times the force of gravity, meaning everything in their body. As the synchro pair slingshot out to the front, we need to look left for Enid. The wings of Enid drop down to form an inverted V. But if you look to your right, there's ready for the goose. Climbing steeply with a red, white and blue stripe is red 9, Flight Lieutenant Mike Child. It's Mike's 3rd year with the team. He's a former Hawk display pilot and Hawk instructor. Operationally, he flew the Typhoon. You saw it display earlier, the Royal Air Force's new multi-role combat aircraft. Out to the right, Enid climbs steeply. Red 6 with the blue smoke. Get ready for the splits in the vortex. With the white smoke. Rolling south. Each of the pilots there in the Revolution flying an aileron roll manoeuvre, which essentially is just a full left-hand control column input, rolling the aircraft around its longitudinal axis. The key to that manoeuvre is getting all 7 jets doing it at the same time before they then come right and reform that battle formation. Now left and right again for the synchro pair. This time the control buttons on the aircraft's control column. Now you need to look to your right 45 degrees to right. On the far right of that leader's cameras ready for the corkscrew. Let's perform tight match rolls to the outside in the rollbacks. Underneath. This is the mirror pass. Now, boys and girls, give the synchro pair a wave as they fly past upside down. Whistler.
All doing there, thank you. Now.
Getting very busy with his red smoke on his red 5. He's Flight Lieutenant Steve Morris. Steve's in his second year with the team. He's a former Hawk flying instructor. Operationally, he flew both the Harrier GR9 and the Tornado GR4 before donning his red suit last year. For the Jippo break! Smoke on to the right hand side is red 7, synchro number 2, Flight Lieutenant Mark. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause for the synchro there. Now look directly to the front to see Ian, who has been joined the Vixen break. You've been watching the Royal Air Force Aerobatic Team, the Red Arrows!